Swords, shields, bones, and ships tend to get all of the headlines, but it turns out Viking poo is interesting too. In fact, studying human excrement is one of the most informative things we can do. Pictured above me is the Lloyd's Bank coprolite, probably the most famous piece of fossilized poo. I once had the pleasure of seeing this specimen in person while visiting the Jorvik Viking Museum. In fact, this is my picture that I took above my head. Now, the story of what happened that day is actually pretty funny. I don't think anyone was quite prepared for the amount of excitement I brought to the museum when I first spotted the coprolite. While it may seem strange to be excited about a fossilized piece of poop, it's difficult to underestimate just how important these sorts of things are toward the study of the Vikings. They can tell us all sorts of things about diet, about trade routes. It's a real snapshot in time as to people's behavior in daily life. So when I spotted this thing from across the room, I opened my arms and said to my dad, "There it is, the most valuable part of the exhibit." And I rushed over to look into this piece of glass and started spewing off all the cool things about it, not really mentioning what it is. A crowd started to gather around me because I seemed to know what I was talking about. And a British gentleman came up behind me, and he looked and he kind of squinted his eyes to see what it was. And then he leans back and he looks at me and he goes, "Oi, that's a piece of shit." Anyway, that's the story. That's how I encountered this thing. I just released an article on why excrement is actually a really interesting thing to study and what it does tell us about the Viking Age. So head over to cjadrian.com to learn more. And as always, follow me if you want to nerd out on Viking history.